Hey everyone, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you're watching this. Today I have a very special guest on my podcast, and I'm also making this into a video because we're talking about how to gain Instagram followers organically in 2020. My special guest today, I watched her go from 0 to 10,000 real Instagram followers, and not just real Instagram followers, they're very engaged with her content, and she did this in less than a year, and you can too. And today what we're going to be doing is sharing exactly steps that she took, what she sees working with the Instagram algorithm, and I'm also going to leave down below a PDF Instagram growth guide. Pretty much everything we talk about in the video, I put it in a nice organized guide, so you could get that down below in the description, and you could just look at it and go step by step to help your own Instagram account out. So if you're new to my channel, I make this type of content: personal branding, personal development, personal growth. If you like that type of information from experience, definitely click that subscribe button down below. Like and share if you think anyone would like this video. And now we're gonna jump into an interview I did with a very special guest on how to grow your Instagram followers. Welcome to the Talk Less, Do More podcast. Today I have a very special guest, Christina Inostroza.
Hi.
And we're going to be talking about how she went from 0 to almost 10,000 Instagram followers within a year. It's pretty amazing. I'm very excited to go over this stuff. And I'm also going to leave a PDF down below in the description going over everything we talk about and some tips and tricks that you can start implementing on your own Instagram account to start growing it. So, Christina, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's start off. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from.
Sure. So, like James said, my name is Christina Inostroza. I was born in Queens, in Corona, but I definitely consider myself raised on Long Island. I'm a Long Island girl for sure, as you can tell by my accent. I'm married. I have 2 kids. And among many other things that I consider myself what I am a content creator for Instagram. So my kids are basically my muse for what I do. They're in almost every picture I take. And that's basically it. That's where I am for now.
And you grew up on Long Island, correct?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was like your journey like? Did you go to college, school?
Yeah, so I actually went to college on Long Island. I went to Adelphi University, and
nice.
I got my master's there in secondary education. I actually wanted to be a history teacher my whole life. I love history, especially American history. That's what I went to school for. I actually studied in Rome for part of my education there, doing more history research. And then when I graduated school, I had every intention on being a teacher. That's like what I always wanted to do. And then either fortunately or unfortunately, however you see it, I quickly realized that teaching was not for me once I left my college classroom and moved into an actual classroom where I was with students. It was much more than just teaching. It was working with the principal and other teachers and the parents, and just the culture of education in our country right now is just not what I imagined it would be. So I moved on.
I think that happens with a lot of people, though. Like, especially when you're young, you're trying to choose something, you get into something, and then you realize this is not what I thought it was going to be.
100%.
So, you want to make a change.
Yeah.
So now, the biggest thing, which we're here to talk about, is Instagram. How did you discover Instagram, and what made you go down that
Sure.
platform?
So after I realized that teaching wasn't for me, I actually got a sales and marketing job for another company here on Long Island. And that was kind of my first taste of how cool photography was, how cool media was, how cool working with, different companies and kind of using my communication skills would benefit me at work. So it kind of just like planted the seed that I liked that kind of stuff. So after I had my son in October of 2016, I found myself no longer working and becoming a stay-at-home mom. And for any moms or parents that are listening, it's definitely very overwhelming. It's a whole new world that you find yourself in, for sure. And something that helped me get through kind of the isolation and tough times is taking pictures of my son. And then I started posting those things, posting the pictures that I took, and I started getting little responses from them like, oh, that was a good idea, that was fun. And I just kind of dove into the world of that further and further to here I am today. So
Okay, because I remember probably about a year ago, and we were talking.
I started taking it seriously a year ago.
You made a commitment where you were like, I really want to grow on Instagram. I forgot the conversation we had, but I think you were only around maybe 100 followers.
Yeah,
It
I
was
had
really
maybe
low.
under 100.
It was
Yeah,
really like
I
going
had just
from
started.
zero
Yep.
to something, and you really didn't know much about the platform at the time.
I didn't know anything.
And
I
I
didn't know
remember
anything.
you asking me questions. We were having like a conversation, and I probably always just said like consistency. I know is one of the main keys.
For sure.
And then you really over the last 12 months, I remember just watching. I'm like, all right, she's onto something. Like,
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I made it my job. So I actually left my personal account where I started posting those like pictures of when my son was little, and I opened a brand new page with a commitment to grow this page.
So when you left your personal, where was your personal at?
It was just Christina Inestrosa. That was my page.
And how many followers did you have at the time when you?
300, but just only of people I knew, like high school friends, things
Okay.
like that. So what I did is I just moved. Started a new account with an intention.
A business page?
A bit. Yes, it didn't start out that way, but I recently changed maybe about 6 months ago to a business page, and it makes all the difference, especially when you want to monetize your account. A lot of people who want to work with you want to see some of your insights. So that's yeah.
So you moved over, started a new account, and obviously that was at zero
Yep.
then.
0.
And then you just started
My mom was my first
implementing-
follower.
Of course. Yeah. And then you started implementing what to start really getting some. Do you remember like the first thing you started doing?
Yeah, so the first thing I actually did, and I don't know if this is silly, but it is what I did, I reached out to someone who was where I wanted to be in a year. I just found a pretty page. She was at 11,000 followers. I still follow her today. And I basically
Do you
said,
know where she is now though?
yeah, she's around 32.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's a great page.
Okay.
Anyway, so I reached out to her and I was like, I'm brand new. I basically want to be where you are. And sometimes you meet people who don't really want to help you. I think
Yeah.
everyone's had that experience.
Oh, yeah.
Who are maybe, I don't know the reason they don't want to help you, but
Yeah.
just kind of human nature. She really did want to help me. So she just like loaded me up with new information that I've taken now and given to many, many, many other people. So I love talking about Instagram. I love talking about growing pages. I love spreading the information. Some of it is like small little things like your bio on your page. They say to make your bio, I say to make your bio a quick little blurb of who you are. So someone comes to your page, they read your bio, where are you from, what's your page about? Like mine says wife, mom, happy human. Those
Yeah.
are the things I am.
Yeah.
So I think that's a quick little tip that she gave me that is where I started. I
Okay.
made my bio how I wanted it to be.
And then on your account right now, I see you put up so much content. How
do.
are you creating all that content at mass?
So, my page is basically parenthood, motherhood page. My kids drive my content, my posts. What the things I talk about are things related to being a mom. That's what my captions are. So, because I have a page of children, I don't really batch content. Batch content, as you know, but
Yeah.
batch content is basically when you take many pictures in one day. So, for an adult, if I were an adult, or if I were just taking pictures. Well, I am an adult, but if I were to be having an account just of myself, what I
Yeah.
would do to batch content is I would go to the beach with a few outfits, change it, create content. I think that's a great way to ensure that you have content for your page. But for people like me who work with kids, I don't batch content my kids. I'm always ready. I'm always ready with my camera.
But that's still amazing because you have to always remember, like to be always in the moment to be like, all right, we're gonna get a picture now. We're gonna get a picture now. It's actually, to me, I think that's actually more work what you're doing. But
Yeah, I agree.
It's the way I guess that you're capturing it.
Yeah, I just don't want to feel
a
like my
natural
kids
way.
are working.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're natural pictures. Not always super natural. Sometimes I'll get them dressed for a purpose, like, oh, I want to take Christmas pictures or whatever. But
Yeah,
I try
because
and
it's
just
a parenting page, and your kids are in a lot of your kids and your husband are in a lot
Yep.
of the photos. You just naturally catch them at different times.
I try. Yeah.
Now, if you were though, let's say it was just you and your husband had a travel page, would you guys batch content? You think?
I think you should batch content.
Okay.
Yeah. I use the app called Plan. It's PLANN, 2 N's. And it basically what it does is when you open the app, it's a grid of Instagram that's empty. And you can put in your posts or your pictures and arrange them how you think they would look. I use that now. And I usually have about a week pictures always out, 1 week out. So
That's great.
So from today, I have maybe 9 pictures forward.
And the descriptions and everything are already written?
Yes. Not always, because a lot of my captions, I am inspired by something that happens. I'm like, oh, let me talk about that with my
Okay.
followers. Yeah. But sometimes if I have something specific to say,
And
just
you know you're going to put it out there, you'll already create
yep.
that.
Yep.
Okay, and what app was that again?
Plan. So it's
Plan.
PLANN. It's plan
And
with
I'll,
2 N's.
I'll link that down in the description as
Yeah,
well.
it's really, really helpful.
And now, when you're putting up your photos, what about hashtags?
Okay, so I use hashtags. I use 30 per image, which is the maximum Instagram lets you do. But just kind of a pro tip that I learned, if you try and do 30 hashtags and you tell someone like, hey, can you put some more hashtags in my comments? Instagram will take away all your hashtags. So you want to be like true with them. You want to
Yeah.
use 30 hashtags. And basically what I do is in the notes section of my phone, I have thousands of hashtags that I've compiled over the year. So I saw someone use the hashtag and I was like, oh, that's a good one. Like
Yeah.
mama life, just for example. And I would add it to the notes section of my page. And then I use 30 different ones from this section. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's another thing I think people get into trouble with is they'll just use 30 hashtags, the same ones over and over again. And
Instagram
sometimes
will
it doesn't
block
make
it.
sense
Yeah.
to the image it's going with. So
Yeah.
it's like at least change it up so that it looks more natural and also just different reach, with the hashtags.
For sure. Yeah.
So hashtags 30, switch them up,
Mm-hmm.
and you pretty much batch those as well. You have those
Correct.
pretty much thousands
Correct.
of them
Yeah.
already planned out.
Yeah, so I'll use the Plan app to organize my pictures and my captions. And then I post every day. I post at the same time every day. I've actually even had people reach out to me if it was later than the time I normally post to be like, where's your picture? Where's your post from today? Like, I was looking forward to it. So I think being consistent and doing things almost at the same time every day or whatever your posting schedule is, I think that's really important to do. And it's good for your page as well.
Okay. And then groups. Because I know you're in parenting, the parenting
Yeah.
niche.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about groups because I think this is really important. And before we even got on camera, I was telling you, like,
Yep.
I've tested out groups on different accounts, and there's a lot of spammy groups out there.
For sure.
So how are you doing the groups? Exactly what's your experience with it,
Yeah.
and how's it working for you?
So I think the number one benefit of groups in general is to get people that are in your niche, that are people like you. I think that's really important. To work together. So I've created certain groups and I've been invited to join other groups that are just dedicated to engagement. So we comment, we like, we save on each other's posts with the idea that we're going to work together to grow each other's page, which is a really, really big. I don't think any Instagrammer, any influencer, no matter how big they are, would say that they could do it completely on their own without high amounts of engagement. I think
Yeah.
the more that you engage with others, I think the more you get back. That's really how I've grown. I've taken time to really read other people's captions, comment back in a meaningful way, and grow real relationships using groups, using the explore page. And then I'm in other groups that, again, I've started myself and been invited to that are just dedicated to motivating each other, asking Instagram questions, support kind of groups.
Yeah.
And in the groups I'm in, we're all moms. So,
And how are you finding these groups?
so
Is it something like anyone could do, like in a
yes,
specific niche?
100%. It's something everyone can do. So let's talk if you were if you were doing exercise and nutrition.
Yeah.
I would try and find similar pages to your own, send them a message, say like, hey, I'm looking to start a group where we can support each other, do that a bunch of times, put everyone together. And not only will it benefit you, everyone else in the group will appreciate your effort to do that for them. They'll engage with each other, they'll engage with you, and it'll just be, it's just a great way to grow and to meet people in your own area.
And also from my experience and analyzing accounts, I noticed too, when you're getting engagement from accounts that are more like authority, like even if there's 20,000 followers, if they're liking and commenting on your stuff, that definitely boosts your authority as well.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these groups, if you could get in groups, now you got to be realistic. If you have no followers, you can't message someone with 50,000 followers
Right,
and be
right, of
asking
course,
them to.
of course.
So it's like you want to be on the same playing field, and especially if you get very niche specific,
Yeah.
Which I think is genius what you did. And I think that's really because you're getting like-minded people that want to support each other.
100%. Yeah. In the
so
group
that's
chat,
I think
yeah.
is one of the things that I'm even learning today from you that really is because it's not just that your account is growing, it's more of the fact too that I see that you're getting sponsored deals and
Yeah.
stuff, and you're getting a specific niche that's so engaged. Which, if I was in the exercise and nutrition, I would want that specific niche, and then maybe protein companies are reaching out to me.
That's right. That's right.
So, talk a little bit about that, like how that's working.
About monetization.
Yeah.
Sure. So, as my page has grown, it's happened both ways where I've reached out to a company or they've reached out to me. That's the more exciting end when they reach out to you. But I'll use Pampers as an example. Although I haven't worked with Pampers, they're just an easy. I would reach out to Pampers and I would say, like, introduce myself, say where I'm from, talk about my page a little bit, a plan for how I'd like to collaborate, why I use Pampers, which I do. I've used Pampers for almost 3 years. And I would wait for them to reply to see if they wanted to collaborate with me.
Now, are you currently doing an outreach campaign like that? Are you actually doing this like on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, or not as much?
No, I know that some influencers are, but I'm very selective about who I work with because I'm not, my page isn't for commercials. Like I want to work with companies, especially when it involves children in any way. I want to be like really genuine with, I actually use this product or I actually shop here and, put it forward that way.
More of a natural approach to it.
Yeah.
So, but I know for a fact though, because I see the stuff you get sent, you definitely are working with companies that then are reaching out to you then, right?
Correct. So once I started reaching out, other companies saw that I was doing sponsored posts. And I guess that they were happy with the way that look, and then wanted to work with me as well. So my page isn't fully monetized. Most of my posts are non-sponsored posts. But when I do have a sponsored post, I do get paid for it because it's work. I feel like sometimes you don't realize how much work and how much back-end stuff goes into actually doing sponsored work, especially with kids.
Yeah.
When you want them to, smile for the shirt that they've been given, But it's great. It's been great.
So we pretty much touched on a lot of things. Is there anything else, again, that I'm leaving out or that you think someone that's just starting right now on Instagram, or even someone that's like stuck, they might have a few hundred followers and like, how do I get past this? What would be the main things? Obviously consistency, we know that.
Yeah.
So
and
whether you got to batch your content or whatnot, like what else?
So those are some of the more technical things I would say, but I think that the number one thing I would say to anyone, whether it's regarding Instagram or any social media platform or just what you want to do with your life, is to pick a topic you love, that you're passionate about, and make it be something that you know enough about that you could teach someone else. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I love that.
So if you could, so it means you have something to offer. So I always say I'm a professional mom, which is, but what I do on my page is I offer something to my followers. I talk about potty training. I talk about swaddling. I talk about what bottles are best. I talk about diaper brands. It's like you have to offer something to the people who are following you. And it could be a really wide range of what you can offer. You can have a lot of knowledge about what sneakers to buy and then have your page wrapped around, that kind of stuff, or about exercise, or, just have something to offer.
Yeah, offering an educational piece. And I talk about this, you should be doing it across any type of social media platform you're trying to grow, like even YouTube. Like I can guarantee somebody, if they stayed consistent and they were putting out content consistently around certain things. Everything has an algorithm. So Instagram has a specific algorithm. YouTube has an algorithm. And once you understand how that works, you could feed them what they want and then also educate the people on that platform. And in return, people will start subscribing or following because they like you. And I think you hit the nail on the head with educational things that you know about. Not just some picture of you with a nice pair of pants and nice coat on just because you want to have it on
look
there.
At me.
Right? Yeah, look at me and showing off. Like, that's not going to cut it.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
being consistent.
if you wanted to have a fashion page, you totally could. There are extremely successful fashion pages, but they're around how to wear this,
Yeah.
what season to wear this in, how to style this outfit. They offer something to their followers more than just like, look at me in this shirt, you know?
Yeah. And when it comes to Instagram, I also think like this is not the answer that everyone wants to hear when it's like, okay, so how do I grow on Instagram? Because it's work.
So much
think
work.
they
So
think
much
there
work.
is like a push
Yeah.
button secret. Same thing on how to grow on YouTube. It's not the answer everyone wants to hear because it is. It's a job. But I can guarantee, and I call it the compounding effect. It's when you're doing something, whether it's every day or every week, after time, you could look back and be like, oh my gosh, I went from here to here because I was doing this, and it compounded into this, right? It's
Right.
almost like,
Yeah.
just like if you do push-ups for one day,
Nothing's
you're
gonna
not
happen, yeah.
right? But if you're doing
Yeah.
push-ups every day, after 12 months, you're going to look in the mirror and go, oh my God, my before and after, look at this.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with business.
100%.
Anything else. So it's really taking the action and staying consistent. And then, yeah, like the little tips and tricks like that from being on the platform. Again, you take those, you run with those, and you do those every day. I know they're going to grow their account.
Yeah.
And I also think the groups, to
Really
me,
big.
I think that is one of the like hidden gems that people aren't doing, and they're not doing them right. Because I see some of the groups some people are in, and these groups are spammy. And when I say spammy, I mean they're not like very niche specific. I think some of the accounts also have a lot of fake followers, which is.
But you can,
Yeah.
me, you can tell
yeah.
when an account is fake followers.
From the followers engagement ratio, it's just there's things that are off, and those accounts are not really going to help you if you're getting engagement from them.
Correct. No.
So what you're doing is genius, and I mean even the idea of starting your own groups.
Yeah, that's been really helpful to me. Simply from an engagement standpoint, it's about equally helpful than if
Yeah.
I were to be invited to one. But when you're the admin of the group, there's a certain respect. I don't know if that's like the right word, but you're kind of like the leader. You're the leader in your group, leader in the space, and I feel like it really does open the floor for good conversation between you and other people of how to grow your page. They've been amazing for me. And in my groups, I'm low man on the totem pole. I like you said, I don't reach out to someone with 200,000 followers, but I have in the groups, anywhere up to 70,000 followers. So we're...
And if you did have 70,000 followers, or when you do have
Fingers
70,000
crossed, that's right,
followers,
yeah.
would you still leverage groups, or would you like only go after certain people on your level that have followers like that, like 50, 60, and like use those people as well to be in the group? Or would you let somebody with like only 5,000 followers in a group if you did have 70,000 followers?
Sure. So an honest answer would be that I've spoke about two types of groups. One of them just for commenting, liking, things like that. I wouldn't necessarily need them or want them in that, not in like a pompous kind of way, but like the idea is to work with people who were around your
status, right?
around your status, yeah. But in a group solely dedicated to Instagram chat, motivation, what's working, what's not working, what hashtags are great, what time of day you should post, how to make your feed look and feel a certain way, I would gladly welcome someone with 100 followers into it. I feel like that's the whole idea, is to support each other.
Okay, so I think we pretty much wrapped up a lot on Instagram. I'm going to make a nice PDF again out of this. I'll leave that down in the description of this video. Now, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? What's like the goal?
It's always a difficult question for me. Anytime I've ever been asked it throughout my life. But if I'm just thinking about Instagram, my dream would be to grow by 10,000 followers every year. Okay. And I don't say less than that or more than that. And because I'm using this year as an example of what I can do right now. I do have 2 babies. So if I didn't have children, perhaps I could do more. Because it really is a lot of work. It's dedication to your page, to creating content and captions and hashtags and groups and all this stuff. But I'd really like to grow by 10,000 followers a year. We'll see.
Okay. I think you're going to crush that.
Thank you.
But yeah, I know you're going to do that. And now if any of the people, the audience, wants to find you, where would they find you?
So I just have an Instagram page. That's really where I've like dedicated my time. And I'm at This Little Love Affair.
For
my
This
children.
Little Love Affair.
At This Little Love
and
Affair,
I'll also put that, you'll probably see it floating around in the video, but I'll also put that down in the description. This way you could follow her, connect with her. I'm sure if, you have any questions, she'll gladly answer them as well.
I answer all my DMs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. Because I know people are going to have other questions. So, feel free to reach out to us.
For sure.
And yeah, I mean, thank you for
Thank you so
coming
much
on.
for having me.
I really
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it.
Me too.
I really appreciate your story, and then also, educating my audience. And I know this is something that people want to hear, and there is no easy way to it. There's not like a push button system, but this is the real way you grow.
Before I started, I would have had no idea how much goes into it. But just get started. You got to start somewhere. Everyone starts at one follower,
Yes.
So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.